Oi gente, tudo bom com vocês?
Not today, Satan. Not today.
Uma das coisas que vocês veem aqui no canal, principalmente na época que eu podia viajar, né? Uma saudade inclusive, é a realidade de muitos países onde ser LGBT é mais fácil que no Brasil. Porque são esses países que investem em turismo LGBT, que me convidam para ir viajar com o Põe na Roda, para ir te mostrar como que é a realidade por lá. Mas, infelizmente, essa não é a realidade de muitos países. Só para você ter ideia, tem cerca de 70 países, principalmente na África, Oriente Médio, Ásia, onde a homossexualidade ainda é crime, que pode resultar em chibatada, prisão e até a morte dessas pessoas, dependendo do país. Sim, em 2020. Mas a gente sabe que LGBT tem em todo lugar do mundo, né? Tem em toda a cultura, teve em todas as épocas da história da humanidade, mesmo com a repressão, né? Porque bem como diz a Lady Gaga... Pois é, pensando nisso, um vídeo que eu sempre quis fazer aqui no canal foi entrevistando algum LGBT desses países onde é mais difícil ser LGBT. E lendo esses dias fiquei conhecendo o Karen, que é um gay muito corajoso youtuber lá da Rússia, que tem um canal só pra falar como é ser LGBT num país tão homofóbico, que tem um líder tão homofóbico, né? Enfim, como brasileiro, infelizmente, a gente não tem tanta moral pra criticar atualmente, né? Até porque o nosso presidente...
Agora, gostar de homossexual? Ah, vai lá, ninguém gosta, tá ok? Ninguém gosta, a gente suporta.
Mas bom, felizmente aqui, embora a gente tenha esse lixo aí governando a gente já conquistou direito a casamento, a gente pode adotar e formar família, STF acabou de determinar a LGBTfobia como crime, trans tem direito de mudar nome e gênero nos documentos. Lá na Rússia, pra vocês terem ideia, existe uma lei antipropaganda gay, que significa que você não pode ser gay publicamente e nem falar sobre o assunto. Você não pode nem usar uma bandeira LGBT ou algum broche, sei lá, nas cores do arco-íris. Enfim, tô falando demais já aqui, então vamos começar essa entrevista com o Karen, que eu quero saber como que é ser LGBT na Rússia. Ele vai responder as minhas perguntas e as perguntas que vocês mandaram no Instagram do Põe na Roda também. Vamos lá então. Hi Karen. I need to ask you, is it dangerous for you to give a public interview being LGBT and living in Russia? Because I know you have some kind of a law against gay...
You know, it's so anti-constitutional, this law that they adopted like 7 years ago, and yeah, that's awful. But the good thing is that since then, like from 7 years ago till now, as far as I'm concerned, there is none case when people were convicted with this particular law. But the problem is that when they adopted this law, there was a spike of homophobic aggression, because those who are extremely homophobic, it's a tiny percentage of the society, because in general Russian society is surprisingly tolerant.
Really?
That's a very interesting topic, because Russia, in contrast to unlike the US or for instance Spain or other countries, it's not religious, and it's never been religious since like many centuries ago, even though it's like Christian Orthodox, but very few people sincerely believe in God and all those Judeo-Christian homophobic statements of religion. So it's not an issue here, and in general, like most of population is pretty much they don't give a shit about like gays or something. But there is a tiny percentage of people who are aggressively homophobic. They have some, personal issues with that. And when the law was adopted in like 2013, they felt like the state like has it their back, and like they are supported by the government and the state itself. And that was a problem, and we can see the statistics. But now we still live in a homophobic society, but I live in Moscow, and it's way better here than, let's say, in Chechnya.
It's really interesting to hear about this, because here we live in a totally different situation, because here we have a really religious and conservative society, and with these values, but at the same time we have every law you can imagine to protect LGBT people. We can marry, we can adopt children and make family. We just had a law against homophobia here. But even with this, since we have a lot of religious values in our society, we have a lot of homophobic people and we have a lot of violence against LGBT people. It's a shame that we are the #1 country in violence against transgender women and transvestite. You have gay clubs there. You can use apps like Grindr.
One of the best gay bars is like 2 blocks from my place, window.
But they are openly gay because of that law.
No, I mean, nobody restricts what you have inside. I'm not sure about having it outside, but you know, they never, I'm sure they never tried to like put it outside from their windows. Every weekend there are thousands of people coming there. It's like gay guys. I'm not sure if there is any lesbian club for now. There used to be one. It's closed, but I'm not even sure because I'm not that much into the lesbian culture.
You just told about the lesbians, and how is it to be transgender in Russia? Can they do the transition?
For the last 30 years, it's totally available here, this kind of surgery. But of course, it's hard. They are even more stigmatized here than gay people, because they're double stigmatized also by the gay community. Well, it's the same as it used to be in the US like back 20, 30 years ago. Remember, as we know it from like Pose series, it's all the same here. We have a lot of problems with like visibility of HIV positive people, with medical insurances and the medical supply for those people. But still, it's not like a plague as it used to be before. If you compare Russia to, I don't know, Middle Eastern, some Middle Eastern autocracies, it's obviously way more liberal here. You can't compare Moscow to Iran. Even to Jordan or Saudi Arabia, Russia is maybe 80% as like resembles any other European country in terms of gay life, not in terms of gay rights.
So you feel like homophobia in Russia comes more from the government than from the society, from people?
Yes, definitely yes. It also comes from the recent, like 20th century history. Back in 20th century, it was forbidden, and there was law and punishment for like same-sex intercourse. But the life in general is way more complicated, and it also has its upsides. Nonetheless, you know, the situation like in Chechnya is really horrible, and people, if you're gay in Chechnya, you can be not just beaten, but you can be killed by your own relatives. This is horrible, but this is a tiny part of Russia. The gay scene is in Moscow is huge.
But they have a different leader, don't they?
Yes, but it's like a republic inside of Russian Federation. It all is gonna change when the political climate changes. Like in Moscow, it's gonna inevitably change anywhere else.
From what you were saying to me, it feels like the image media sells to us through news and things like this. It feels like it's more dangerous than it actually is to be LGBT there. I mean, I remember a really strong image about a gay guy being arrested by the police with the LGBT flag.
There is a big difference between being openly gay and being politically active. Russia is an autocratic country. It's not like a real democracy. So any kind of political activism is dangerous here. And actually, this anti-propaganda law they adopted back 7 years ago, is not about being openly gay. It's about being politically active as a gay activist. And that's something that is dangerous, and it's neither supported by heterosexual society nor by LGBT community, which is extremely non into politics, you know. We have our bars, clubs, Tinder, Grindr, and other applications, but when it comes to any rights, like same-sex marriage, children adoption, there's nothing. And it's dangerous to protest, and it's dangerous to come out to the streets. So this is the difference.
What about your family? Do they know you're gay? How's the reaction? And I assume most of LGBT people there hide it from their family.
Came out to my mom like a year later after I came out to my friends. I basically broke her heart. It took like maybe a half year to year to accept it. She was scared by my fate, and she was saying like, I'm afraid about you because it means you will never have children, you will never be happy, you might have issues with alcohol, drugs and stuff, because the image of the gay people is very scary. And my friends were celebrating it with me, and they accepted it totally, which empowered me very much.
I remember one guy, I don't remember exactly this story, but it was about some a Russian guy. He asked to live in another country with his boyfriend because he felt it was dangerous to live there.
I mean, there is a whole range of different stories. You can find it here as anywhere else. Either you're politically active and you can't live here without like these basic rights of being married, of making out on the streets, of having children or adopting children, and you suffer from that. Obviously it is hard for you to live here and you want to move out. There are about 10 to 15 million gay people here in Russia, considering the fact that it's like 140 million the general population of the country. So you can live here, obviously. And I've got like dozens, if not hundreds, of friends who are openly gay.
And they can have boyfriends and they marry. I mean, not legally, but they...
Most of them come and go to Argentina or South America or any other romantic place to get married, and then come back here and they live here for like years. Don't try to fight for your rights and you'll be okay.
But at the same time, do you recognize... Sorry.
Be ready to be thrown in the jail.
So, but at the same time, even though it's dangerous to be activist, do you recognize their fight over there? Does it make difference?
I have a sense that I've got feeling that the positive changes come not from political activism, but in general from being part of the global LGBT culture. Because, like, in contrast to China or North Korea, we have 100% access to the internet. Everybody, especially LGBT people, they use Netflix and HBO and everything, and there is a huge audience of fans for all those LGBT content. The positive changes, they come from very low level, because the society grow, and like year by year, decade by decade, it gets more involved in like global culture. And when you're involved, you can't be that homophobic or religious or, all those prejudices. People leave them in the past. And like new generation of those who are 20 years old now or 15, like children of my friends, teenagers and like students, they have like 100% Western agenda and all the values of acceptance and so on.
So, even though you have no rights, you are making a lot of progress with all of this, right? We can assume this.
I wish we would make this progress way faster, but yes, we make it.
So, do you think in a future LGBT rights will be possible in Russia?
Yeah, that's what I'm fighting for, actually. Russian history teaches us everything changes here simultaneously at some point very fast. We're the country of what, 4 revolutions? I used to work on like historical projects about this period, and I was asking people like, could you ever imagine, like back in 1985 or 1987, that the Soviet Union will collapse? And they were like, no, we were pretty sure it's gonna last forever. And guess what? Like in 1 second, it changed everything. Like in 1990s. So I have a feeling that with the gay rights and like in general human rights here, it's gonna change faster than we think, and this is what I'm trying to do my project for, just to prepare general audience for that change.
I remember 2 moments when I think about being gay in Russia that comes to my mind. I want to know your opinion. First, when Lady Gaga made a speech in a concert in Russia, and they told that she could be arrested because of saying in public about LGBT rights.
Whether you're gay, straight, bi, transgender, transsexual, whether you're Catholic, Muslim, whether you are Buddhist, your God is here, your God is there, you are black, you are white, you are Russian, whatever you may be, are you brave enough not to give a fuck what people say?
And she was like saying, arrest me, Russia.
And I believe that men and women deserve to love each other equally. Cuff me, Russia! Arrest me! I don't give a fuck!
How did it feel for you? You remember this?
Actually, I've been to that show. It was so much appreciated by the audience when she was saying that, because obviously, and there were, I don't know, maybe 10,000 people there. Everybody was screaming and crying and applauding. There was nothing, no problem with police. Even with Madonna, she had some problem. There was like kind of backlash from homophobic St. Petersburg politicians, I don't remember who, and she said like, I will never come back to Russia again as long as they have those homophobic laws. It's nonsense, and it doesn't work this way for me. It doesn't make any sense, because if you support LGBT people here, you gotta come as often as possible and support them. And if you like build this wall, it makes things even worse here. So I expect more and more people to come here and to enlighten the general audience.
And the second moment is when in the last Olympics, some guys from various countries, they came up in the streets with their t-shirts were in each one of them was from a specific country, but the colors were exactly the LGBT colors. That news went viral here in Brazil, and it was an amazing image to see those Russian palaces and about 6 or 7 people with the LGBT colors. But I mean, police couldn't even ask them about anything, because they were just guys with their team t-shirts. So
no, I don't know why I just missed this, but it's, yeah, sounds cool.
So, I want to thank you so much for this interview and send a message to the boys in Brazil. I know you've been in São Paulo, so...
Yeah, Brazilian guys are so hot. That is the sexiest country I know, actually.
Invite people to go to your channel and know about how is it being LGBT in Russia.
Hey guys, my name is Karen and I'm running a YouTube channel called Straight Talk with Gay People. And I have like dozen of amazing interviews there with Cynthia Nixon, Billy Porter, Bruce Cohen, Martina Navratilova, and many other celebrities who are openly LGBT people. And that's something I'm doing for mainly a Russian audience, but there is also a channel where you can find it in English. So go and check out.
Thank you so much.
Super cool, thank you.
Thank you.